All right, so Who is Thanos part 12? And we are now covering issue 50 of the Silver Surfer, which is the final issue before we make it to the Infinity Gauntlet, which is the epic that includes so many of our favorite heroes. Let's go. So we begin this issue, of course, where we left off with the Silver Surfer trying to get back to Earth to warn its heroes that Thanos has all of the Infinity Gems. He gets blown off his surfboard and crashes into the moon, and we see him zone out, and he's appearing as his former self, Norrin Radd. So, looks like we have ourselves a bit of a flashback, starting with Norrin as a little boy in a room with his father, but he is forced to wake up by Thanos, of course, who is standing over him and is pure stone. In conversation, Surfer blasts him, but of course it doesn't work, and he gets blasted by Thanos. Thanos, of course, is manipulative, so he's trying to simply pry into the mind of Silver Surfer just to mess with him. He could easily just extract the information from his mind with the mind gem, but he doesn't want to really do that, as that's just not as entertaining. So he sends him for a loop on this mental probe, and we get some more flashbacks. First of which, we see a young Norrin having a conversation with a little girl. We learn that he was enlightened long before he was an adult, and he recognized that they shouldn't be so heavily reliant upon their technology and their technological advancement. Remember, this approach was what influenced him to even act on saving his land from Galactus when he was about to, sort of take it for energy. But after this brief flashback, we see Thanos begin to beat the dog crap out of Silver Surfer because he's being resistant to his mind probe, and then he goes right back to doing it. We then see a young Norrin with his father standing over a bunch of citizens. Now, his father instructs him to never become like them because having this easy life where technology basically is so advanced that it does everything for them has caused them to really lose their way. We even get a drug reference as his father says that this is the reason why the youth takes all of these mind-altering drugs for these mind-altering adventures. But the father basically is letting Norrin know that at some point that ambitious mind of his will be needed because a change is coming. We then see Norrin get his head shaved, and his father has aged a bit. It seems like this is the custom of their world, as all of the men have these bald heads. We also learn that his mother committed suicide, so things ain't all peachy in the world of Zen-La, even with all of these technological advancements. So we see some more pushback from the Silver Surfer, but it doesn't stop the probe. Now we see a more adult version of Norrin, who sees a story of his father being accused of idea theft for one of his inventions. So Norrin goes to confront his father about it to get more info, and he says that it's blown way out of proportion and there was a small factor in a complex equation that he forgot to credit to the creator, which leaves Norrin in disappointment. But then we see Surfer wakes up with his surfboard crashing into the stone version of Thanos. It seems like the Silver Surfer has the upper hand, but he does not, as he puts himself back together and is now holding Silver Surfer by his legs upside down, only to get thrown into the ground. So the mental probe is right back at it, where we now see Norrin's father is dead due to an apparent suicide as he shot himself in the head. We also get a recap of Norrin being created by Galactus, so it seems that Thanos knows a lot about the Silver Surfer now. Done with his probe, Thanos calls him a fraud because he acts like he's not a monster, but he walked away from his own father at a troubled time saying nothing, and he eventually killed himself. Now, Silver Surfer does eventually blow up Thanos again. This time he chooses not to really bring himself back together again, as he's now looked into the mind and the memories of the Silver Surfer and has been entertained long enough. Thanos basically says that he can get back to going to warn his little Earth heroes because he knows all of his dark secrets now. We end this issue with the Silver Surfer crashing into a building. That's gonna do it for part 12 of Who is Thanos. In the next video, we will be moving on to part 1 of the Infinity Gauntlet. Until next time, man, y'all be easy.